ก็สวัสดีนะคะสำหรับน้องๆที่ลงทะเบียนมาร่วมงาน University of Melbourne Engineering Virtual Session นะคะอ่าสำหรับวันนี้นะคะเรามีได้รับเกียรติจากคุณ Svetlana Collier นะคะเป็นRecruitment จาก Manager นะคะจากฝั่ง Engineer ค่ะวันนี้เขาจะมาให้ข้อมูลเกี่ยวกับ Engineering School กันนะคะสำหรับเรานะคะคือบริษัท Education for Life เป็นตัวแทนอย่างเป็นทางการของมหาวิทยาลัย University of Melbourne ค่ะเราจะมีบริการทั้งให้คำปรึกษาสมัครเรียนแล้วก็ติดตามการสถานะการสมัครค่ะแล้วก็ช่วยทั้งเรื่องของยื่นเอกสารเตรียมทำวีซ่านะคะจัดหาหอพักแล้วก็เราจะมีเจ้าหน้าที่ค่ะคอยบินไปดูแลน้องๆทุกๆเทอมเลยเพราะฉะนั้นแล้วเราจะดูตั้งแต่ต้นจนจบจนกว่าจะเรียนจบโดยไม่มีค่าบริการค่ะสำหรับช่องทางการติดต่อหรือว่ารับข้อมูลข่าวสารนะคะสามารถติดตามเพจเราได้ที่ Facebook Education for Life ค่ะหรือ IG นะคะ educationforlife.bkk เรามีช่องทาง YouTube ด้วยเราพาไปดูมหาวิทยาลัยมีคลิปล่าสุดของเราก็มีน้องแบงค์ทิติไปดู University of Melbourne กับเราด้วยนะคะไปดูกันได้ที่เพจ Education for Life นะคะแล้วก็สำหรับใครที่สนใจอยากเรียนต่อหรือติดต่อสอบถามข้อมูลเพิ่มเติมนะคะแอดไลน์มาได้ที่ @EFLBKK นะคะมีแอดไซน์หน้า EFL ด้วยนะคะค่ะสำหรับขออนุญาตประชาสัมพันธ์อีกงานหนึ่งนะคะวันที่19มีนาคมนี้ค่ะเราจะมี one on one session กับคุณแคลร์วิงลี่ค่ะเป็นเจ้าหน้าที่ Recruitment Manager จาก University of Melbourne งานจะมีตอน 17:00 น. ถึง 20:00 น. ค่ะที่โรงแรม Sofitel สุขุมวิทนะคะถ้าคนไหนสนใจเดี๋ยวติดตามเพจลงทะเบียนได้ที่เพจ Facebook ของเรานะคะ I would hand the presentation to Ms. Collier.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So my name is Svetlana Collier. I'm the Recruitment Manager for two faculties, the Faculty of Architecture, Building and Planning, and then the Faculty of Engineering and IT. So today I will be talking to you mainly about our engineering programs. So what is the Acknowledgement of Country? So the university acknowledges the Wurundjeri Wurrung people who are the traditional owners of the land on which the Parkville campus stands, and we pay respects to their elders, past and present. The university also acknowledges and is grateful to the traditional owners, elders, and knowledge holders of all Indigenous nations and clans who have been instrumental in our reconciliation journey. So when, as future students, you actually enroll and come study with us, this is what you will see quite often, acknowledgement of country across the university. So just a quick brief agenda. I will go through how to study engineering because we are a little bit unique. Our Melbourne curriculum is about an undergraduate pathway into our masters. I will talk about the graduate master's programs, but highlight two of our newest masters. One is the Master of Digital Infrastructure Engineering, and the other one is Master of Industrial Engineering. I'll also touch on scholarships, and I know everybody wants to know about scholarships. We will go through internships as well, because it is very important to be able to, dive in and make sure that you're not just studying, you're also, getting internships and you're joining clubs. And then we've got the wonderful, our student ambassador, Ted, who is online with us today as well. So we might just ask him a couple of questions and then we're going to have a Q&A. So feel free to ask us any questions you like. So how do you study engineering pathways at the University of Melbourne, Faculty of Engineering and IT? First of all, you do an undergraduate degree. So this is at the University of Melbourne. You have a couple of choices. You have the Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Design, and Bachelor of Biomedicine. Underneath that, you can see the different majors that you can do. You might notice that there's a double up. So for example, you've got Civil Engineering Systems that you can take in Bachelor of Science, but you can also take it through the Bachelor of Design. Now, it's exactly the same major, and whether you do it through science or through design, it will lead you into Master of Civil Engineering, but it's about the subjects around it. So what we usually say is, if you're very interested in the science world, you know, you love chemistry, biology, you love anything science, then we say do your engineering through the science degree because you're going to enjoy it and it's going to supplement your degree. If you love the built environment, so you're interested in buildings, you're interested in designing cities, you can do it through the Bachelor of Design. So that will make you a different type of engineer. Having said that, obviously, the major is still exactly the same. Now, once you finish your 3-year undergraduate degree, you can go into the Master of Engineering. You'll notice that there's a 2 or 3-year option. So we do get a couple of students asking us, what does that mean and which option would be for me? Let's say you take the Bachelor of Design and you do civil engineering, then you go on to the 2-year Master of Civil Engineering, and then you become an accredited civil engineer. But let's say you have studied an undergraduate degree in, I don't know, arts or finance or anything like that, but then you think, I actually love, you know, environmental engineering and I want to do the Master of Environmental Engineering. You can actually come in and do the 3-year option. So you don't have to go back and do an undergraduate degree with the same major. You skip that, and that 3rd year or the 1st year of the 3-year degree gives you that foundation to be able to become an accredited environmental engineer. So there are options for you if you choose to change your career. Of course, you can then, after that, exit to employment and become accredited in Australia and internationally, or you can continue and do graduate research studies. So we've got the Master of Philosophy and we've got, of course, the PhD. Now, let's say you want to apply for one of our masters. So you've got the 2-year, the 2.5 or 3 years. Now the 2.5 could be because you might receive some credit from previous study. So the blue names are the actual masters, and then the white names are the specializations that you can do under each masters. Now, a very popular one for quite a while now has been under digital infrastructure, which has been artificial intelligence. Having said that, in software engineering, human-computer interaction is becoming super popular. So I've just travelled to Sri Lanka and Vietnam, and the amount of students who were interested in human-computer interaction was completely different to how it was a year or 2 years ago. So it's definitely a booming specialisation, and we definitely have a lot of students who maybe would have looked at cybersecurity, for example, are now more interested in how does humans actually teach computers to act human. So, and there's a lot of research around that as well. So I mentioned we've got a couple of newish masters. So the Master of Digital Infrastructure Engineering, and it's really a mix of like traditional and new subjects. And they mainly cover digital manufacturing, data analysis, sustainable engineering, and life cycles, including some business subjects as well. So there's a big range of options to specialize in. Obviously, you know, digital technologies comes into it, but it's all about the infrastructure around it, but taking in that IT aspect into it. This has been a very popular master so far. These are the entry requirements for anyone that is interested. So once again, you can see there's a 2-year option and a 3-year option. So with a 3-year option, an undergraduate degree in any area whatsoever. A 2-year, you need to have done a bachelor with that particular major. Okay, so pretty much the same Melbourne curriculum throughout all of our undergrads to masters pull through. Then you've got a Master of Industrial Engineering. Basically, the Master of Industrial Engineering is a branch of engineering that involves figuring out how to make things better. Okay, so industrial engineers look at how to improve processes, design things that are more efficient, you know, cost less, waste less time, money, raw materials, and obviously person power. So it really has become a very popular master's as well, because as you know, with the climate change, and a lot of companies are looking at making sure they're using green technology. This is definitely starting to really pick up in the industry. Master of Industrial Engineering. So to be considered, you need a 3-year undergraduate degree in any of the engineering system majors or a 4-year Bachelor of Engineering degree. I'll just quickly touch upon our Advanced Engineering Masters. Now, the masters that I talked about before are basically to become an accredited engineer, so in Australia and internationally. Now, let's say you are an engineer already and you want to specialise even further. We do have the Advanced Engineering Masters. So we've got the Master of Environmental Systems, Engineering Structures, Energy Systems, and Energy Management. So most of these are a year, some of them are a year and a half, and you really do drill down and specialise in that particular area. Most of our lecturers do actually work in that industry, so it is a very hands-on masters. Okay, then we also have the graduate research programs. I'm sure you're all aware of what PhD is, but we've got two. So we've got the Master of Philosophy and a Doctor of Philosophy. The difference is the amount of writing that you actually have to do. So the Master of Philosophy is a 2-year degree, and the PhD is usually 3 to 4 year degree. There is a bit of a longer process to get into a PhD than it is to, apply for a coursework master's, but we do have a very comprehensive website. But the very first thing that you have to do is obviously think about a thesis that you want to do. So what is it that you want to research into? What is that question that you need answered? And then you would need to start looking for a supervisor who are experts in that area and that they are willing to supervise you. So you need an academic. Okay, so we can take you through all of that information if you are interested in doing a research degree. Okay, so scholarships. The University of Melbourne does have a number of scholarships itself. So usually they are what's called fee remission scholarships. So that means you might get, 25% discount or a 50% discount of your tuition fee. On top of that, you also could have scholarships from the actual faculty. So as you can see on the screen, I wrote down that, it'll be between 5,000 and 10,000 Australian dollars. Usually that's a payment per year. Now, the good thing is we do have a huge number of scholarships available, as in variety of scholarships, but it is automatic consideration. So you don't have to, search for scholarships, apply separately. It is all considered at the time that you apply for the coursework. So we only look at your academic merit, meaning what is your score in your previous degree. So unlike a lot of the institutions in America who look at your CV, they might look at, do you do any volunteering work, any, special things that you are interested in? Are you sporty? And then they kind of award you scholarships based on that. At University of Melbourne, it is very much just based on that mark. So the higher your mark is, the more chances you have of gaining a scholarship. So just wanted to touch on some of the things that we actually offer in the Faculty of Engineering. So as you can see, we've got a couple of, and this is just a couple, there's a big number of them, but there are internships. Now, internships are basically subjects that you do where you actually go and work in a particular company. Okay, so there are a number of university-sourced internships. So as you can see in the left-hand corner, we've got a whole portal that you will actually have access to when you become students, and you can have a look at, the type of internships we offer. However, we also encourage students to find internships themselves, and we do have a large number of support services that will actually help you find those internships. Okay. It is very important that students, take that step to ensure that they, start looking at how do you network with people? How do you put together a great LinkedIn profile? How would I interview on Zoom, or how would I interview in person? So from the start, we always encourage students to actually, work on themselves, because we do have students who come to us and say, well, I've done this master's, I don't have a job. Where's my job? And we always say that, it is up to you to ensure that you take every opportunity that we offer you, engage with our career services, make sure that you work on those skills that are so important, because when you compare, you might do a Master of Chemical Engineering, but there'll be 20, 30, 40 other students doing the same thing, interviewing for the same role. So you need to work on how can you make yourself stand out. So just wanted to also show that we do have an internship letter. So it is sent out to students, and it is a weekly newsletter that comes out to students, and it just gives a very comprehensive resource in promoting the university-sourced internships. And it is exclusively shared with the students that are enrolled into those two subjects. Having said that, there's obviously opportunities for other students to look at lots of different placements. And we have a whole team here who look after all of that. So you can also see that, we've got online, we've got a lot of mentoring opportunities. We have, so Interview 360 is a really, really great platform where you can practice your interview technique and then you get instant feedback. So it's been super, it's actually been used quite a lot by students, and they have really, really loved it. And they feel like they can actually feel a bit more confident when they go and do an interview. Industry events are also very important. We encourage students to make sure that they engage with industry. So, for example, Kodesh is actually going to our Careers Expo next week. And this is an expo that we run on campus for all of our students. And we invite industry to come and actually have an expo style and talk to our students about getting graduate positions. So there's so many different things that you can really get stuck into. And just another one, you can have a look at the different mentoring. It usually runs for 6 months. It's basically an intercultural career mentoring program. It was only launched last year. That one particularly runs for 3 months, but it is a group mentoring experience with several mentors and 80 to 70 students from various cultural backgrounds. And, the focus is to be able to work with different cultural backgrounds and decision-making, the challenges, and also being able to work in multidisciplinary teams. So very, very important to enrich your studies with all of these opportunities. The other thing is, once you're in, we don't stop with scholarships. So we do have scholarships and prizes on offer. And I just thought I'll give you a bit of an understanding of how it works. So there are 27 scholarships for coursework students offered each year. So coursework is basically anything other than a PhD and a Master of Philosophy. So these scholarships are listed on our faculty's scholarship page. So, you can always have a look, but we do have a weekly newsletter that goes out to all of our Engine IT community. And we always let students know that we have these scholarships and prizes that are up for offer. And just to round it off, we've got a whole faculty letter, and that pretty much covers everything. So as a student, you're automatically added as a subscriber, and these are sent fortnightly, but it does have all of the opportunities available. So as you can see, career events, volunteering opportunities, scholarship opportunities, study abroad and exchange, which is very popular. So everything is kind of in one place, and you're able to make sure that you take full advantage of that. I did touch base on Students' Club and societies before. So the university itself has about 260 clubs, and it's anything from coffee lovers, chocolate lovers, jungle drumming. It's very varied. And the ones that I'm showing you here are around engineering and IT. So a lot of these clubs, we actually engage to run workshops for students, so students can really experience what it is like to be an engineer, or what is it like to work in IT. So we really do encourage students to, when they come study with us, to make sure that you get involved in all these different clubs and societies. We also have, I didn't actually have a picture, but if you jump on the website, we've got a beautiful building called Melbourne Connect, and we have a lot of laboratories that students are welcome to use. So if you need anything cut out or you need to do some 3D printing, we've got what's called Telstra Connect Space, and basically any student is able to go and do any of their work that they need to there. So there's a lot of things that we provide. So that was pretty quick, and I hope that I covered everything that you guys need. But I did want to invite Ted to come online, and I think it's always nice to hear from current students, well, now that Ted's graduated, from past students, and Ted has done Master of Mechatronic Engineering. Ted, did you want to jump on and say hello?
Sorry. Hi, hello. My
Hello,
name's...
can you hear us?
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
I'll just stop sharing so we can see you. That's it.
Hi.
Hi, do you want to maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself and why did you choose University of Melbourne?
Yeah, sure. Well, my name's Ted. I'm from Myanmar, and I started my studies in University of Melbourne since my bachelor. So I went for Bachelor of Science in Mechatronics. Well, first off, I was pretty interested in robotics. So that's what mechatronics is about. And not a lot of universities offer this course until even masters or even bachelors. And I mean, University of Melbourne was one of the schools that offered it. And I mean, ranking wise, as I'm an overseas student, when we're choosing universities, we look at the rankings mostly, and it was in like the top tier. So that's why I actually applied for University of Melbourne. Yeah.
Excellent. And how did you find studying at University of Melbourne? Are the professors quite approachable?
Oh, yes. Sometimes you will forget that they are professors, that they will become more like mentors as you go like into your masters. You'll notice that they will go from this kind of professor role into even more of a mentor role where you can ask about even your careers, or you're interested in this kind of fields, what kind of jobs suit me, and yeah.
Yeah, I found that speaking to professors, it's interesting, a lot of professors, they say the students need to be at the lectures, they need to come to tutorials, because at the end of the day, they'll come to them and they'll say, give me a reference for a job, and they'll be like, I've never seen you. So I think it is so important to make sure that you are connected to the faculty, because, to find a job, you will need a reference.
Yes.
What did you find the most challenging aspect of your studies?
I would say it's the assessments.
Yeah, okay.
Normally, you're supposed to take 4 subjects a semester, and the assignments can actually build up to the point where if you're doing it alone, if you're just studying alone and doing all the assignments alone, then it's going to be pretty hard. So if you go to study sessions, especially in bachelor's in maths, they have these study sessions where you try to do the problem sheets together, then you get through easily. But if you don't do this and just rely on yourself, it usually takes a longer time to even sometimes grasp the concepts and stuff.
Okay. Was there a lot of group work? That's one of the questions that we do get asked a lot from prospective students, whether there's a lot of group assignments and how important is teamwork.
No, yeah. I mean, there will be plenty of teamwork. And I think throughout these bachelor and master years, I've gained a lot of, I would say, cultural adaptation as well, because all the teams are very random, usually. So you'll end up with people from different backgrounds and ethnicity, and it's actually fun to work on the project. And during the other times, we talk about our culture, what we did, what we liked. So yeah, I mean, But
Melbourne is
it
very
depends.
multicultural, isn't it?
Yeah, but it still depends on you yourself as well. If you're not open to really talk and give time to get to know each member, then it wouldn't really be a good team.
Of course. Speaking of that, do you have any tips for making friends and building networks at university?
Yeah. Look, during my bachelor's, I've joined a lot of student clubs. I've joined Coffee Lovers Club, where each week we
That's
go
my
to
favorite.
different. Yeah. So I joined a maths club. I forgot everything already, but I joined pretty much a lot, and that's where you get to meet people. I mean, I sometimes meet people from art as well because I joined a photography club as well. So
Oh, wow.
and you get to know what do they learn during their subjects because it's very different from what engineering students are learning. So it kind of helps you and during your teamworks as well. Just don't consider it as just a team for your assignment. But if you do get to know each other, they become lifelong friends as well.
Become friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. At the moment, so we've got orientation, as you know. So we've got the very first week before we start our new semester. So our first semester starts in March the 4th. So this is a very, very crucial week called orientation week. And this is where new students come on board and there's a lot of social activities. It really is focused on making sure that you can make friends, making sure that you build that network and that you also know where to go, what you need to do. So did you find orientation quite valuable? Did
Yeah,
you do orientation?
I did it during my bachelor's, but my master's I didn't go anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good week to actually. I went to I think 2 or 3 days of clubs where they advertise their clubs and they have all these tents put up. So I'll just go every day, see what clubs are there, talk to them what it's about, and that's how you actually join and get to know what these clubs are about.
Yeah, of course. There's also, I'm just thinking about the questions that students tend to ask. There are some questions that think that Melbourne University is quite, theoretical. We kind of just think about research and concentrate on research. Did you find your course hands-on?
Well, honestly, during my first a year and a half of bachelor's, it wasn't as much. But later on, there's this building called Telstra Creator Space that's been put up. And since then, it's like a haven for engineers. Everything you dream of, there is 3D printing, laser cuttings, metal shops like wood-lead. You can do anything you want, cut anything, build anything you want. Everything is provided to you for free. So I think that's since then, there's been a lot more practicals put into subjects where you can even use it for your home projects.
That's awesome. I think you'll find that undergraduate degree, especially the very first year, is like your foundation year. So you're kind of getting to know the university, getting to know what even a lecturer is, because you might not know, and it's very different to high school. So you do have, that kind of like time to ease into it and understand some of the theory. And then when you get into masters, especially masters that needs to be accredited, it needs to meet a certain sort of practical aspect to it, then you'll find that it is quite hands-on. So it's that's really good. It's good that you've enjoyed it. What are you going to be doing now that you've graduated?
Well, I went to a more chilled part. So I mean, normally students in their last year, they apply for jobs during the final year so that they can instantly go into work field where I thought I deserve a bit of break.
Yes.
So I just only started applying maybe about, I think last month ago. So I took about 2 months of gap and started applying for a job. Yeah.
That's good. How have you found the job hunting
Well,
so far?
I've had a couple of interviews. To be honest, it's kind of difficult to choose because I'm from mechatronics, so I can go to electrical jobs, mechanical jobs, mechatronics jobs.
You're spoiled for choice.
So now too much choice. Now it's now it just depends on me to kind of focus which area I want to go to.
Are you hoping to stay in Australia or are you hoping to go international?
I'm hoping to stay in Australia, actually. Try to gain some experience, as well.
Oh, wow.
Especially for mechatronics, Australia has a lot of manufacturing.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I've got a last question for you.
Yep.
Is there anything that you wish you knew before you started your degree? Or is there anything that you would say, definitely do this as a, first year student?
I mean, it's going to be redundant because you already mentioned it, but going to classes.
Yeah.
When I first got here, I think first semester, I went to all the classes because I was kind of nervous on how it is. Second semester, I was like, oh, it's pretty chilled. I'm not going to go anymore. And then I realized that I don't know a lot of people from my class anymore. And it's difficult to get help when needed. If you go to class, you see other people who are actually enthusiastic and putting in effort to come to class. So you go into this group and it actually helps you learn better.
That's great. That's perfect. Thank you for that. That was actually really interesting. I hope it also, helps some students to understand what it is like to study at University of Melbourne and to study at Faculty of Engineering and IT. So we do have some questions, I think, that have come through from students. I'll just check with Anna.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Is it okay if we start?
Go for it.
Okay, about the engineering pathway. We noticed that for University of Melbourne, they don't have Bachelor of Engineering. So we often got questioned about this, and we were wondering how is this different than other traditional Bachelor of Engineering?
That's a really excellent question. So yes, we don't have the old sort of, Bachelor of Engineering anymore. I'm just trying to sort of bring us back to the slide that I had before, just to show you when I go through it. So the Melbourne curriculum is a little bit different. So you've got more generic undergraduate degrees. Okay, so as you can see, just go like that. Can you guys see that? How to study engineering pathways?
Yes, we can see.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the 3-year undergraduate degree, under the Bachelor of Science, you have a number of engineering majors. So you can see chemical, civil, computing, digital, electrical, environmental, mechanical, and mechatronics. Okay, so even though it's not called the Bachelor of Engineering, it's the Bachelor of Science, it does have a lot of engineering majors. Now, these engineering majors lead you into the Masters. The difference is it's 1 year longer. So if you were to go and do a Bachelor of Engineering somewhere else, it would be a 4-year degree. Here, we do the 3 plus 2. Now, the reason why we do that is because what we found is that now it's a very competitive industry, obviously, so the industry is now looking for master's students. And in that extra year, students get extra exposure to industry, potential internships that they can take part of. So we found that even though it is an extra year, students are basically better off. And we've got like a 98% graduation rate where students find jobs as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes. And how does the employer view on this particular pathway compared to the traditional Bachelor of Degrees of Engineering?
Yeah, so it definitely has. So when we redesigned this, it was based on what the industry was looking for. So they found that students that do a Bachelor of Engineering, because it's a 4-year degree and they're locked into it from the very beginning, they maybe don't necessarily gain as much experience as someone who might do an undergraduate degree, then go and work for a bit and then come back, or go straight through. So the other thing that we offer at undergraduate degrees, that let's say you started doing Bachelor of Science, Civil Engineering, and in the first year realised that, oh my God, I don't want to be a civil engineer. You're not going to waste that year. You can pivot and choose another major. So if you were to be locked into a traditional degree, you would have to obviously exit that degree and start a brand new degree.
I see. And with that, does the university have like a partnership with any government firms or agencies that the students can work in the industry placement and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
so a huge amount of, the internships that I mentioned, the actual subjects that the students enroll in. So we've got a team here based in Melbourne Connect that will look after those students and give them access to the industry internship portal. Okay, so they help them find those internships. But there are also so many government agencies and companies that we work with that will come on campus to find graduate students or students that are graduating that can place into a graduate role.
Okay, and มีน้องๆคนไหนอยากถามคำถามอะไรไหมคะ Just ask me if there's any questions
Yeah, of
from the
course.
participant. Okay, this one. For engineering, with this current industry trends, what's the most popular specialization right now?
Yeah,
at
sure.
university?
So, I mean, mechatronics sounds interesting. It seems like it's a very, very pathway. But I mean, look, you know, software engineering has been very popular. We obviously, artificial intelligence is what everybody's talking about at the moment. But I definitely have noticed that human-computer interaction is becoming very popular. So that is a specialization through our software engineering program. And that is basically where you would be coding a computer to do something that a human would normally do. It sounds very, you know, full on and sounds crazy, like they're going to take over the world. But I was actually very surprised that it takes months and months and months to code a computer to move one cup from one side of the table to the other. And I can see Ted's, you know, nodding his head. I was blown away by that because watching all the movies and everything, I'm like, there'll be like, you know, robots walking around any second. But no, we're very far away from that. The other thing is that I think really made it interesting for me is that, you know, in the world of 4 billion adults, there's only 200,000 people that know how to code computers. Only 200,000. So if you put that into a perspective, that industry is only going to, you know, boom and get more and more popular.
Okay. Is there any field trip abroad in the program?
Oh, great question. Yes, so we've got what's called study abroad and study exchange. So basically we have, I think, 225 universities across the world that we have partnerships with, where their students will come and study here, our students will go study over there, or you, as a student, you can choose anywhere in the world that you want to go and study a semester. We definitely encourage that because, I mean, international students, for them to come to Australia is already an experience in itself. But, you know, if you are doing engineering, it might be really incredible for you to go to, I don't know, Latin America and see what type of advances, or maybe the opposite way, do they have there. So we have, a whole team that looks after study abroad, study exchange, internships, career opportunities. So it really is about, you know, making the most out of your time. So, you know, we don't want just study. You've got to be able to take advantage.
Okay, and is the sorry.
That's okay. Take your time.
We got one question. Is the internship not guaranteed for everyone, or how difficult or any criteria the students need to get to secure the placement?
Sure. A lot of students think that, you know, an internship will be really, really super hard to get. So the internships that I talked about before, they are actual subjects. So you can enroll into it and you will be guaranteed an internship. However, we've got a huge amount of internships that do not get placed. because and we keep on encouraging students to make sure that you use these opportunities. But some students, realize until last semester that they should have taken an opportunity and have done that. So we've got two sort of prong approach. We've got an industry internship placement that we help you with. But if you happen to network and you go to this, industry expo and you meet someone and they offer you an internship, then it's up to you and we can help you, facilitate that as well. So you do get a lot of help, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to, actually take advantage of all those opportunities.
Okay, and I have one quick question about the Master of Engineering Management.
Yes.
I've noticed that it's for 1 year. It's a 1 year
Yes.
program. And
Yes,
is
it
it for only engineering graduate or graduate background, or is it for non-engineering too?
We do offer it mostly for engineering background, and that's because it is such a short course when you think about it. You need to have the background information to be able to take that on. So it is a very specialized one. So it's already assuming that you know a lot about engineering, but it's going to throw in some management into it. Okay.
So how does that differ from the MBA course?
Because it is still predominantly engineering. So it's basically, the easier way to describe it is you are maybe an engineer and you potentially want to either open up your own firm or, you are a part of a huge company and you want to understand sort of the business and how business relates into engineering. So it's not just business, it's around actual engineering, how that will work.
Okay, pretty clear.
Excellent.
And yeah, I think that is it for the questions.
I've got a quick question. I'm just having a look in the chat and you have got an application day coming up in Bangkok, which is very exciting. And I'm trying to figure out the date, but I can't. I can see it's the 19th.
It's in Thai. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
It's
that's okay.
19th March
Excellent.
2025. It's actually on the Wednesday from 5 o'clock. From 5 o'clock to 8
5 o'clock
o'clock.
till 8. Perfect. Great. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, then thank you so much. Thanks for hosting us.
Oh, thank you for your lovely presentation today. And just a reminder, สำหรับน้องๆนะคะวันที่19มีนาคมนะคะเราจะมีMelbourne Application Day นะคะสำหรับใครที่สนใจที่จะสมัครเรียนหรือว่าต้องการข้อมูลเพิ่มเติมไม่ว่าจะคณะไหนก็ตามสามารถลงทะเบียนมาร่วมงานได้นะคะที่งานจะจัดที่โรงแรม Sofitel สุขุมวิทค่ะอยู่ใกล้ๆ Terminal 21 เลยตั้งแต่เวลา 5 โมงเย็นถึง 2 ทุ่มนะคะลิงก์ลงทะเบียนอยู่ในแชทสามารถเข้าไปดูกันได้นะคะขอบคุณมากค่ะ